Hello, 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 hello. How's the lamp? Is the lamp a cool vibe? Hello, my freaks and geeks, and welcome to this week, as if I make a video a week. Welcome back to my channel. This week I put a poll on my Instagram asking people what they wanted to see from me, and the one that received the most votes was everything I've ever crocheted, which I was surprised by. I thought nobody cared. It's all right here. Before we get started, I'm gonna burp. Some of us are just talented. I started crocheting with a random hook that I found in my house and with yarn from the dollar store in 2021. So about 4 years now. It was an on and off type of relationship, a little bit toxic, mainly because I'm toxic. It was on and off because of me. I couldn't figure it out for some time. So everything that I was making just had a strange, odd shape and nothing was straight. My stitches weren't even. So about the first year of crocheting, I was just practicing and making random shapes. At one point, I remember I tried to sew all of those shapes together into like some kind of vest, like sweater vest. I don't know what I was trying to make because I have pictures of it, and I'm like laying these random pieces over a Shein sweater, a Shein cardigan. So many levels of embarrassing there. I didn't start taking it seriously until probably last year. And this year is when I really started crocheting real things. Let's get started! I'm kind of excited to show everyone my creations. The first thing I ever made that I was proud of, that I still have, is this beautiful scarf. This scarf was made in January of 2024. This scarf is a year and a half old. I made it using acrylic yarn from Michaels that is like changing, like it changes as the yarn goes on. And when I made this, I like finally figured out that when you crochet with different like weighted yarn, you should use a different size crochet hook. I did not understand that concept because all of my crochet experience was me just grabbing yarn and crocheting with the one hook I had. So this, I remember I like bought a bigger hook for this yarn that I was using, and I loosened the tension a bit because I had been crocheting pretty tightly. Um and I was so proud. I just learned how to crochet straight, and and that made a world of a difference. Next, I made this white scarf shortly after. I remember it was after I made that one scarf because I was like, I could make a scarf in every color. So I made a white scarf. I made this balaclava without a pattern in February of 2024. I had this teal. I don't really like this color, but I made this with my two hands and my brain. I don't even know how I did it. I first made, obviously, the teal thing, and then I gave it like this black border, and then I like embroidered over, well, I didn't embroider, but like I crocheted over top. I used a smaller hook and some black yarn, and I just started going crazy all over, and I made this crazy design. I never wear it because I don't really know how or why I would wear it. Maybe if I ever go skiing. I went skiing twice and I did not like it because I'm a scaredy cat. This beanie I crocheted. I don't love it. I don't love this color. Like I said, I don't like teal very much, but for some reason I had teal yarn. Like, did I go and buy that? Oh, my husband is home from work. Hi, baby. I'm filming a YouTube video. I'm. Hello. The next thing is also pretty impressive that I freehanded. I made my then boyfriend, now husband, a laptop sleeve case for our anniversary, and I made it in February of 2024. and I added this little button and this little like leather thing to close it, and I'm very proud of it. I did not crochet at all after February. I made the skinny scarf in October. I don't know why. I think I wanted it as an accessory for a specific outfit, but I don't know if I've ever worn this. That was in October, and then I didn't crochet till November, December, and I made a bunch of people's Christmas gifts. My mom had told me that she wanted like a really big, wide, and long scarf. And so I made her one out of this really beautiful acrylic yarn that I found at Michael's. This was a fully single stitched crochet scarf, and I'm pretty proud of that one. I also made hats for literally everyone. I made hats for my cousins, hats for my sisters in law, hats for my best friends. Um, just hats for everyone because I was like, I finally figured out how to make them and make them so they don't look stupid. Because I had made some before that did not look great. This last Christmas is when I really figured it out. I also learned to make granny squares around this time, and I made a granny square camera holder. Very cute. And then out of those same granny squares, I started making this like scraps pillow. I'm just filling it up with scraps of yarn. Then in January, I realized I had not made my husband anything. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make him something. And I made him this hat, this beanie. And it was a big hit. He even got hit on by a Trader Joe's checkout worker. She really checked him out. I call this one the Bob Dylan scarf because I was inspired by the scarf that Bob Dylan is wearing on his Blonde on Blonde album cover. He's wearing this, I think it's like a checkered scarf, but the way that the picture was taken looks like a houndstooth pattern. So I used a houndstooth stitch to make this scarf. So I made it for Bryce and he wore it a few times, and he's not even like a scarf guy like that. But it was Bob Dylan inspired because he loves Bob Dylan, and I just wanted to make him something cute. I used a YouTube tutorial to teach me how to do the houndstooth pattern, and then I just kept doing it over and over until I made a scarf. With that same yarn, I made a skinny scarf. If it weren't made out of acrylic yarn, I would probably wear it in the summer. But unfortunately, I had still not ventured into other kinds of yarns at this point. So I made my first cat hat. Pussy hat, if you will. Then in February, is this February yet? No, we're still in January. Wow, I was really feeling crochet in January. But I was pinning a lot of things on Pinterest, and one of the things that I found was called the Late Summer Sunset Blanket by Eleonora Tully on Etsy. I just got tired of working on this. Like, it was like the same thing over and over, and I kept running out of yarn, and I kind of stopped. I kind of gave up. I think I might just finish it off here with the orange and then do like an orange border around the whole thing. It's really beautiful, but I just have not given it the attention it deserves. I also made this scrunchie in January. I found a tutorial on Pinterest. If I can find it, I'll link it. This was back when my hair was long, but my hair was not thick enough to carry this whole thing on it, so I never used it. So if any of you want this, let me know. I'll send it to you. I made another cat hat. I made a black one for a bundle I was doing, and I included it because I was like, you know what? This is their vibe. But during the whole month of January, I worked on something that I felt was very ambitious. I made this. This is the Pulse sweater by COSMAUDI. I'm not sure how you say her name, her brand name. been following her account for a few months, and I saw that she was going to drop this pattern in January. And so I said, okay, that's what I'm doing. 2025, the year I get serious about crocheting. And I bought the pattern on January 11th, and I finished this on February 13th. It's not perfect. The sleeves aren't even, and you can kind of see the seam right here where I like joined the crochet, if that makes sense. And um at the bottom, I didn't finish it with the stitch that she recommended. She was doing this crazy stitch for the cuffs, and I was pulling my brain out trying to do it, so I just decided to do like a scalloped edge for the hem of the bottom, and I called it good. But yeah, this has been probably one of my most ambitious projects to date. And I was just so proud of it because it was like the first real pattern I followed. Then in February, I started making hats for cats. All my friends are gay, so they all have cats, obviously. And so I started making them all little hats, like little bucket hats. And I'll include some of the pictures here. I was very proud of this, and I love doing this. And I found these through like a free pattern online, and something devastating has happened. And I clicked on the link I have saved. It's no longer there. So that's really sad and tragic. I wonder if I could make one from what I remember in my head. Probably not. I might have screenshots of it somewhere. I love cats. If you have a cat and you want me to make one of these, let me know. Next thing I made in February was this bonnet. I wanted to make something really cool with the leftover blue yarn that I had from my sweater project. So I decided to make a bonnet. This literally took me a few hours. I did use a pattern. I bought it off Etsy from, it's called the Little Bonnet Pattern by Crochet Treat on Etsy. And it was so easy to follow, and it turned out so nice. If you're trying to be whimsical, make yourself a bonnet. It's so cute. Next is a project that I kind of failed at. I even bought a pattern for this. My mom wanted me to make a sweater for our family dog so bad. She wanted me to make him a sweater so bad, especially because they had just like shaved him and he kept getting cold. So she was like, please make him a little sweater. So I looked up a pattern, I bought it off Etsy, or maybe it was free. I think I bought it, and when I made it, it was too small. So I've been frogging it. For those of you who don't know, frogging is when you like unravel your project. And frogging it, it was too small for that dog. So hopefully this can be my dog's Christmas present this year. This placemat I made in April of this year, and I thought I was gonna make like a full set for like 4 people, and then I just made one, and I said that's enough. I also made a banner for my balcony in April, and I was inspired by things I had pinned on my Pinterest board. And I followed a pattern. Well, I followed a tutorial on YouTube by Fiber Flux. I've actually used a lot of their tutorials. And then in April began my crown obsession. I was making crochet crowns for literally everyone's birthday. It started with my friend Nico, and then it just it just exploded from there. Everyone gets a crown for their birthday from now on. It's so fun. I used this pattern that I found on Pinterest. It's a free pattern by Cheryl Bennet, and I will link it down below. I made my first ever amigurumi, which is like a little plushie. But I'm getting too tired. I just hang this on my backpack because my backpack is all black and it's boring. So I added this as a little charm. This is one of the cutest things I've ever made. I followed a pattern, I bought a pattern for this, and this was my first time working with non-acrylic yarn. I bought cotton yarn for this shirt because I was like, if it's summertime and I'm wearing acrylic, I'm gonna die. So I bought cotton yarn for this. So yeah, this one is one of my favorites. I've only worn it once, so hopefully I wear it again. after this, my mom was gonna go to Peru in June. So I decided I wanted to make some scarves for my grandparents, and I made one. I have 3 grandparents that are alive, and I have a great aunt. So I made them all scarves, and here are pictures of them wearing them. They are so cute. And they were really easy to make. After like I hadn't made scarves for like over a year, and then making one again, I was like, wow, this is so easy and fun. So maybe everyone gets a scarf for Christmas this year. One of my friends teaches yoga, and she has the option of either paying like a donation to her, or you can give her a gift. And she loves koozies, like the little can cover things. So I crocheted some. I found a free pattern, and I made her some koozies. I also made this crocheted bag. I made this crochet bag in May. At first I was trying to make a top. I was trying to just like freehand a top, and it didn't work out. So I decided to make it a bag. It can't hold anything very heavy, but at least it's cute. And finally, I made a cover up, and I just freehanded this, and it's not very perfect, but um I made it all by myself. I have to wash it because I wore it to the lake. I told my mom that I made it, and she couldn't believe it. She was like, "Oh, I want one for Christmas." Okay, now I'm exhausted. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. But that's everything. Please let me know which one of these was your favorite, or if you have any questions about crocheting. Again, all the patterns I used and all the YouTube tutorials I used will be linked in the description. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you later, my freakies. Bye. Bye. Okay, bye.